my name is Erika and welcome to my channel. Thank you for being here today. I am super excited for this video that I have for you guys. This has been a long time in the making, way over a month for sure. So I wanted to do this challenge where it was called 30 days of light work journaling. So I guess I gotta start out with what is light work then. Both shadow work and light work are both necessary for healing and growth. However, I feel that light work is a lot more easier to approach as it deals with things that are much more uplifting and a lot more positive. So it looks like there's no clear definition of light work. However, this is what I was able to find. Light work is an umbrella term that is used today to describe a wide array of energy healing methods. These healing methods have in common is that all of them are using divine energy for healing, either by channeling it or by working with the angels or with higher intuition. And the word light in light work is usually described to be the divine energy. After reading that, I think what my version of what I'm thinking light work is positive questions and more questions that are trying to connect you more with being more in tune with the universe and just be more connected to that higher self. So that was my understanding of light work. It's hard to put into words what these are because there is no clear definition. It's kind of differentiating from person to person. So there's no clear definition of it. When you look it up, it's all just up to interpretation. What I do understand is that shadow work is mostly focusing on the shadow part of us, the more repressed part, the parts of ourselves that we haven't yet fully learned to accept is kind of how I view shadow work. And then light work, I think, is more the part of us that we want to become more of and the part of us that we want to be able to showcase more of and the part of us that wants to be better and just do better. I'm not saying that shadow work isn't that either. Shadow work is also us trying to be better. They're both healing in different ways. Both of their end goals is to have us heal and look inward so that we can heal and be better outward. So I embarked on a 30-day journaling challenge of just light work questions because I was not really ready to dive all the way into the shadow work questions, as I felt that some of those are a little too much for me right now, especially because I'm a beginner. So I wanted to start off with light work questions. So that's where this journey kind of found me, was I wanted to have some questions that I could think about and really think about who I am and also think about who I want to be and also think about my place in the world and what I want to see in the future for myself and also for others. For me as a beginner, I wanted to definitely start out with light work kind of prompts just to get me used to not only journaling but also this type of journaling where there's no right answer, there's no essay type of thing. This is all just creativity coming straight from your head and onto paper. So in this video, I kind of just wanted to share with you guys not only the questions, and all the questions that I do use will be in the description of just day 1 through 30. If you guys chose one and answered it in the comments, I would love to hear that. The nature of this video is going to be very personal. Please be very kind and please be very patient with me, as this was something that was definitely new to me. So hopefully this video turns out to be somewhat interesting. I hope you guys learn at least something, as this is something that's super new to me. So I'm hoping I can learn with you guys, and I'm hoping you guys can learn from me also. Please feel free to subscribe down below. Please like this video. And so anyways, let's get on with the video. Alright, so we are at the end of this challenge, and I have all 30 days written down here in this notebook. So the biggest thing about this challenge for me is definitely just trying to get in that positive mindset and just in that positive headspace to be able to write down and be in that kind of creative flow to write about. Some days are much more creative than others, and it also depends on the question. I think just some questions are just more open, and therefore we have a lot more thoughts on them. Some other questions were a lot harder for me to figure out how I wanted to answer them or what ways you wanted to take them. And that's also a part of the journey too that I thought was really cool with it. One of my favorite questions to answer was definitely what needs to change. And at first, I kind of just took this as like, oh, I don't really know how to answer it. So I kind of just started looking towards nature for inspiration. So I even wrote about how like caterpillars have to turn into butterflies and like plants and trees transform and change. So I found definitely through this experience that if you are stuck on a question, then you should definitely turn to examples that you can find in nature. So for me, that was definitely like the caterpillars turning into butterflies for change. I also found that I took a lot of inspiration from pop culture and also just movies that I've gathered. I've mentioned a quote from Ratatouille, and the Ratatouille quote was, "Change is nature, the part we can influence, and it all starts when we decide." Something that I found cool that I wrote for what needs to change is, I wrote, "Everything changes and we fear change, but we also crave it." And I put, "It is also the start of every story or movie. It's the first step in the hero's journey. There needs to be a change or revelation about the status quo that gets the hero to embark on a quest." And I thought that was really deep. I was like, whoa, okay, that's cool. And it's like, yeah, I really do think that I fear change, but it is also something that is definitely necessary, because what's scarier than change is staying the same, you know? So that's super cool. I thought that was something really cool that I wrote, so I like that. Yeah, there will be days where you have nothing to write about, and that's okay. And I think when you do have nothing to write about, just start with what you know, and then just move on to examples that you can find around you, whether that be through nature or through other forms of media, such as like movies, TV shows, favorite quotes, anything like that. It doesn't really matter. Like I said, like this is all just you trying to figure out and just being creative and just trying to just raise your vibe higher, you know? Just like, you know, vibe a little higher. So another tip that helped me during this challenge was trying to write this to my future self as if my future self was sad, or also just trying to write this as if my past self was sad. So really getting into that mindset of writing to kind of help myself heal was also very healing too, where it was like, what would I want to hear in this time of like need, or like what would I want to hear when answering this question? And that really helped a lot for some of these, where it was like, what would a good friend say? And be that friend to yourself. This whole journaling activity is pretty much just trying to get you to know yourself more. So that's why there are no wrong or right answers, is because it's just whatever you like and whatever you want, you know? That's kind of how I approached this too, was just being a friend to myself and just writing what I would like to hear, and writing in a way as if I were a friend to myself, because you should be a friend to yourself. So that was another thing too that I learned through this experience. So another prompt that I really liked from this challenge was definitely the question, what energizes and inspires me? For this question, I actually really found myself looking inward to when I was a child and to what I really liked back then. If you don't really know how to answer the question, maybe go into the mindset of who could answer that question. And it might just surprise you how that would be your younger self. Your younger self will be able to tell you right away everything about them that we kind of learn to suppress and kind of learn to hold back on and kind of abandon as we get older. I felt kind of sad as I was answering this question, because I realized there were a lot of things that I did as a child that I kind of let slip away as I got older, and I haven't really picked them back up yet. So that is something that I think I want to incorporate more into the future, so that I'm able to really reconnect with my inner child and be like, I remember that we love painting. Totally forgot, and I've been stuck in this whole grown-up world. So that was another thing too, where it's like, oh, I remember that I really love painting. So it's like, I started painting again, and I actually have some that I really liked. So that was something that was really cool. That was something that I learned about myself, was that I was able to pick up another thing that I like totally forgot about, that I actually really liked and enjoyed doing, without the fear of being like good or bad at it, without having like other people's opinions in my head. It's like I found that I liked painting just to paint, and I liked drawing just to draw. I liked dancing just to dance. Really reconnecting with my inner child was a huge portion of this challenge for when I was stuck. Is like, what would younger me say, and like what would younger me have to say? And it's like, she's still in there, they're still in you. And it's like, I think we need to listen to that person a lot more often, because that will make us a lot more happier. And it's like, I think that's where we kind of get our regrets from, is not letting our inner child come out and play more. We are protecting them because we're like, you're too soft for the world. As much as it might hurt them, like, they still need to come out and play, because it's like, it's better to come out and play and get hurt than to not have come out at all. So definitely reconnecting with my inner child and figuring out what it is that we liked that I kind of lost as an adult. It's kind of interesting, because it's like, when you let them lead, they'll let you know like what you like, probably before you do. And it's like, oh, like I totally forgot about the arts. That was something that like I loved doing, and it's just like, I should really incorporate that more now that I'm older. I wrote this down for the prompt that was, what do I want to create? It's all risky. The minute you were born, it got risky. If you think trying is risky, wait till they hand you the bill for not trying. If you think investing is risky, wait till you get the tab for not investing. See, it's all risky. Getting married is risky. Having kids is risky. Going into business is risky. Investing your money is risky. It's all risky. I'll tell you how risky life is. You're not going to get out alive. And like, as much as it ends on like a morbid note, it also kind of gives me freedom. Kind of like, you know what? Like, yeah, might as well, like, if I'm going to die, might as well try everything. It's kind of pushing myself, being like, oh, like, create as much as you want, create whatever you want, and like, at least try something, and at least try everything you can, because you're only here for so long. So might as well be able to say that you took a chance at it, and be able to say that you tried it. And honestly, that's kind of weird, because it's like, that's kind of why I even started this YouTube channel, is because it was like, I remember in high school, I really wanted to do a YouTube channel, and I really wanted to make videos. I had no idea how, and I still don't know how. I'm still a beginner at it, but I'm really proud of myself that I was able to even put a video out there. Even if no one watches it, that's okay. I'm proud of myself, because that's what past me would have wanted. I finally did it. That makes me feel so happy that I was able to do that. As hard as it is to like talk in front of a camera and make these videos, I'd rather do that and make something out of it than to have not experienced it at all. And YouTube videos are much harder than I thought. I would not have known that if I hadn't tried it. So I'm really proud of myself for trying. I think in each of these prompts, you should say something nice about yourself. No one's going to read it except for you. So might as well just have it be 30 days of love letters to yourself, pretty much. As conceited as that sounds, it's sometimes we need that pick-me-up, you know? Sometimes we have days where we feel like we're the worst person in the world, and like we feel undeserving of everything. So being able to have this to fall back on, and being able to say really cool, nice redeeming qualities about you that you totally forgot about. And there was another question that's like, what do I value? And I think that question is something that a lot of us have not really sat down with to be able to actually answer it. And I think that is a hugely important question that we have to sit down and think to ourselves what it really is that we value. And so to be able to have taken the time to actually have myself sit down and answer that question and just see what exactly it is that I prioritize, it really got me in a mindset to be like, okay, anything that doesn't fit in those values is not for me. And anything that does not align with those values, I will not give it any energy. It really had me focus in on who I am and rediscover myself and find new love and appreciation for myself. And I think that's awesome. In this journaling challenge for me, I found myself, whether I would start out with material items such as like I want a big house and stuff like that, it would always travel further. It's like, why do you want a big house? And it's like, oh, because I want security. Why do you want security? You know, it's like you keep going down to the why of it, and then you realize at the end of it, you're like, oh, I don't want a big house. I want a sacred space to myself, you know? It's like, I want a place where I can feel comfortable being me. I think that's super cool because even if you start out like materialistic wise, if you go down to the root of it and if you let yourself and allow yourself to think about it and to actually explore deeper into it, you'll find that it seldom ever is about the material. Like, it is never about the material. It is always something much deeper than that. I thought that was super cool to be able to find that like there is very little of this that has to deal with actual materials and things of this world. Most of it is not things, actually. Most of it is feelings, and most of it is experiences. Most of it is feelings of comfort, you know? We're chasing after that feeling of comfort. Most of the things that I was looking for is not material at all. It's comfort. So those are some of the lessons and insights that I learned through this challenge, and I would definitely highly recommend you at least check out the questions in the description, because I think if you actually sat down for 5 minutes, picked a question and wrote about it, you would discover something about yourself also, and that you would discover that like there's way more to life out there than the material side. It kind of helps with creating different brain waves and brain paths that kind of lead towards a more positive thinking way rather than a negative thinking way. Rather than spiraling downwards, it kind of makes you think and forces you to think up and kind of grow that way. So I really liked that about this challenge, was that it was definitely very light, and I liked that it was very rooted in positivity and rooted in growth and rooted in things that I love about myself and things that I love about the world and things that I love about just life in general. So that was something that was really cool when journaling, is because it was always something exciting and always something positive and always something new. And that's what I liked about this, like who I am and what I stand for and my values, and just made me feel much more secure about myself and just made me feel more in tune with myself. Like, I really got to know myself in this challenge. And I think I would like to do a gratitude one, because this challenge already made me feel very grateful and powerful. It was able to give me more of like a gratitude mindset. With so much bad news going around in the world, this was such a breath of fresh air to be able to take the time to figure out what I love about me and my life, you know, regardless of whatever was going on in the world. This was such a nice like me time activity, and I think that really helped me with being able to break a cycle of just, oh, everything's bad, everything's going bad, and like everything is not gonna be okay. This challenge really just made me feel like, oh, I'm doing my best and that's all I can do, and I'm just trying to get a little bit better each day. So I really like that challenge for that. I really recommend that you guys try this challenge also. I just hope that you guys liked this video. I hope that this inspired you in some way too, and like that's pretty much what I wanted at the end of the day. I just want to inspire. I hope you guys liked watching the video, and with that being said, I will see you guys next time. Bye!